Hello, this is eSoup, aka Specific Soup, and today I'm doing an album reaction for Aku, the newest album by Queen Bee. You might realize if you look at this channel that I'm kind of obsessed with Queen Bee. I've heard most of the songs, honestly, like a majority of the songs from this album, but I wanted to do an album reaction for a couple reasons. One of them is just that I don't think there are any album reactions of Queen Bee, at least not in English on YouTube where I can readily find them. I kind of keep tabs on Queen Bee reactions, and there's really not a lot. And I am very big on listening to music as an album cohesively. What I'm going to be doing for this reaction is a little bit different than other album reactions. There are not English translations readily available for all of their songs, especially the newest songs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the video for any songs that have a video and turn captions on. And if there's captions, I'm going to be looking at those as I listen so I can get the English lyrics, but I'm not going to be showing the video because this reaction is not about the video. I'm just going to be focusing on the lyrics and just listening to the song. Without further ado, let's get into Aku by Queen Bee. The first track is Purple. I have heard this. I've seen the music video. It is gorgeous. It is stunning. I loved it, and the lyrics were really beautiful too. This time I'm gonna pay more attention to the lyrics because I'm not gonna be focusing on the video for the first time. All right, here is Purple.
あなたたちに出会えて本当に良かった、思い出はここまで体を
One of my impressions of this song from my reaction is that it's kind of like a thank you to the fans. And the first line is like, I'm truly glad I met all of you. I'm gonna go back a second. It is such a beautiful song.
私だけじゃきっとここまで来れなかった、離れ離れになったあの雲間を紡ぐよ
Ugh, her voice. Such a gorgeous arrangement. That line, if you make it through, then shine, heart and soul set forth on your journey. It's like, if you make it through, if you're struggling and you're surviving, then it's kind of like, do more than just survive. Shine, be yourself, like, just be everything that you are. Also, I love the way that the instrumental builds in this song, because when I first started it, when I reacted to it, I was like, oh, it's, you know, it's a ballad, it's on the slower side, but even then the song still builds and reaches like a really intense point. And that line right there, I'll still say, even so, I'm glad I was born. That is so beautiful, and there's something so powerful about that, and especially the way that she's almost like shouting it. Oh. And suddenly that part, the way the instrumental changed there, I gotta go back because it's so unexpected. Like, I love the things they do in their songs. Like, you start a song and you think it's gonna be one type of thing, but there's so much complexity that you are not expecting. Anything cruel could happen, enough to drain the color from your face. Even so, I'll take pride in being too stubborn to give up. I feel like that is the major theme of this song. Then here she says, so let's begin into the purple. And earlier in the song, she references gentians. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they're a type of flower. And they're like a purplish blue flower. Like, yeah, they kind of look bluish to me in some pictures, but basically they're purple. So she's using those flowers, opening up, I think, as like a metaphor in this song. So that's why it's called purple. So let's begin into the purple. It's so triumphant sounding and a little bit bittersweet. Just the way this song grows. Like, I feel like you could study it. It's amazing.
本当に良かった私だけじゃきっとあなたたちに出会えて本当に良かった私たちになれて本当に良かった
Okay, I don't want to pause it at this epic moment, but when I reacted to the video, I just kind of freaked out at this line, and it's like my favorite line in the song. And I'm so glad we became us. Like, I feel like that has so much meaning as a queer person, as a trans person, you know, because Abu-chan is trans, so, like, I'm sure it has a lot of meaning for her, but it doesn't just mean that. There are so many different ways that you can become yourself, like, be yourself. And it just feels like such a powerful line to represent appreciating the different ways that people can be. And that, I guess it's sort of like in the face of adversity, it's a powerful statement just to be yourself. And I feel like that's a big part of what the song is about. A lot of Queen Bee songs have lyrics that are not very straightforward. And I feel like a lot of the song is straightforward, but it's so powerful in its simplicity. Like, the song does not sound simple, but, like, maybe the lyrics are a little more simple than I'm used to with them. But that just, like, it just makes it all the more powerful. And this part, oh my god. Those lyrics, like, in the background, that's singing in the background, so cool. The background vocals are not translated, so I don't know what she's saying there. Ugh. And the way it ends... Oh, and then in the video, there's like one of those purple flowers in a vase. It's just such a beautiful and perfect song. That's how I feel. And that is the album opener. It's really interesting as an album opener to me, because a lot of times you think of an album opener and you're like, oh, it's going to introduce you to the album and maybe it like won't go so hard. It'll be a little bit softer, but this song, you start out, you know, not knowing, but it goes really, really hard. And that's just the first track of the album. Like, I don't know, that's crazy to me. Okay, so that was Purple. The next track is Rhapsody. I'm not totally sure if I've heard it before or not. I thought maybe I'd heard it, but I don't know if I just saw the name somewhere and didn't listen to it or if I've actually heard it. If I have heard it, it was only once. But either way, I will see if there's any kind of video that might have lyrics, but I think there might not be lyrics for this one. No, there is. There's a lyric video for Rhapsody. It looks like I've actually clicked on this on YouTube and maybe watched it, but I don't know if I just clicked and waited for later. So I might have heard this one already, but I don't really remember what it's like at all. So I feel like I might as well be starting fresh with this one.
私は初めてあ あなたのことを忘れたわそれはあまりに突然で答えは考えつかずただ
Ooh, there's some bass. I'm like feeling it kind of rising up.
方向らしいの形を覚えては涙をこらえてはやがてあんまりにただ楽しく当然で寂しく誇らしいでしょう染まれないこと悔しがっていたらそれ
Ooh. Okay, so I'm kind of remembering this song. So I did listen to it before and I vaguely remember it. So that line was crazy long time. And then it says, when it frustrated me that I couldn't blend in. So crazy wrong time. Oh. And then crazy wrong time. For the first time, I was desperately trying to. I think that's referring to trying to blend in. So for the first time, I was trying to blend in. Mm. I love when, like, she brings her voice down deeper and kind of ends a line on, like, a forceful note. It's so cool. Feeding fire to my lead-colored memories. Like, what? Like, what kind of a line is that? So she's talking about writing a poem with her blood. And then this next line is, even when laughed at, I kept reciting. Kind of it's a dark song that sounds happy and sounds uplifting, but the subject is kind of dark. I remember this part. So Abu-chan can talk about crazy. Abu-chan can hit crazy high notes, like, without her voice cracking like that, and it's obviously for the effect. Like, right, that last line delivery is, like, to sound so vulnerable and weak by making her voice, like, crack and be really thin, because she doesn't have to do that to get up there. Like, a song that sounds like this, overall, just like the melody, the beat of the song, everything about it, like, if this was just some other band and it wasn't Queen Bee, I would absolutely not expect a vocal moment like that to happen. But because it's Queen Bee, I'm just like, yeah, that's what they do. Just like Abu-chan plays with her voice in so many different ways, just for so many different effects. And sometimes she just wants to sound completely unhinged. Ugh. That's gorgeous. My God, that was it. That was Rhapsody. Beautiful, stunning. As I was listening to it, like I started to remember hearing it before, but it had been a while. But seriously, this song is so gorgeous, and Queen Bee is always doing something unexpected, and I don't mind songs that follow like a typical pop structure. Like if they're good, they can still be really good. A simple song can be good. But I do really love and appreciate when like you kind of don't know where the song is going. Like you have a melody, you have a certain structure, but you start listening to this, you don't know that there's going to be like those crazy vocal breaks. Like, just that one part, you don't know that's going to be in there. And I love that. And I love how many Queen Bee songs will just surprise you and you kind of, there's not really a way to follow the structure and predict the structure. It's just going to be how it is. And that's that. So that was Rhapsody. That was track 2. Track 3 is Super Memorial Aku version. So I've heard Super Memorial, but I haven't heard the Aku version. And that's another thing Queen Bee likes to do is they'll do an album and they'll have some singles that had come out recently and they'll do like a new version of some of their songs for the album. So it'll just be like arranged differently. And when they've done this before, sometimes it's like a big difference and sometimes it's kind of a small difference. So I don't know how different this will be. Here we go, Super Memorial Aku version. Oh my God. Well, this is different. Oh, the panning back and forth. Oh. This sounds more like the original song. So far, the beginning part of this was the part that was the most different. There's like something that sounds slightly different about this, but it's a lot more similar to the original song. Oh, here we go. I think there's some different synths or something different here. Ooh. This song is so fun. Both versions. I love how often this song has moments where just all the instrumentals just go out. It's like almost all the sound stops and then we get back into it. It's kind of jarring. It just adds to the effect of the song. There's a really big bassy boom at the end there. Okay, that is just a really fun song. It's not like my favorite Queen Bee song ever, but it's just very fun to listen to in both versions. I don't think they changed this version a ton, except the beginning was very different. The instrumental is a little different, and there's some different synthy sounds. There's like this little squeaky synthy sound going on in the background of this one that I don't remember in the original. But otherwise, it's like similar-ish. But I'm gonna just look at the lyrics of the song because that isn't something I've like paid a ton of attention to before. The first line, and it's in quotes, "Someday we'll be able to laugh it off." That won't work? Then I won't say it. I wonder what is being laughed off. And then just like a really weird line, "The batter is under suspension." I mean, it makes sense. Like if you make a batter for something, I think the type of mixture that it is called a suspension. Or at least certain kinds of batters are a suspension. Wait. Then it's... Oh my god, wait a minute. Is that a pun? Wait, is that a pun? The line is, "The batter is under suspension. Then it's time for a full swing." So like baseball, the batter can do something wrong and get suspended in baseball. I don't know. I don't know how sports work. But but I swear like a batter can also be a suspension, like the scientific term. So is that supposed to be a pun? Is it supposed to mean both? There's a line, "Hey, seriously unpredictable." And I'm like, yeah, that's Queen Bee songs. "Can you do it without hesitation? Unraveling the secret, super memorial." And I don't really know what super memorial means exactly. I don't know what's being like memorialized. This song is definitely one of the ones where I'm like, I don't know what this is about. "Rather than hide it, I'm leaving. It's hard to stay. I realize that too late. Passing each other as another gets forgotten again." So it sounds like part of it is about a breakup. And that's interesting, especially in such a weird, upbeat, and like funky little song. And then hiding under the surface, it's actually about a breakup or like something serious. But I mean, that is just what they do. That's just what Queen Bee does. "For this day that will eventually come, even though I've been waiting for it. Reality is fleeting. An indifferent heart fades out." And then again, that line, "Someday we'll be able to laugh it off." So I think it is about like a breakup or like a fight or something that ended a relationship. Also, at some point, the line, normally it's super memorial, but at some point she says super survival. "Afraid to advance, yet too uneasy to halt. Such random course of action. Does this suffice? Don't come to conclusions alone, that's terrible." And that's also in quotes. "Always putting yourself last, constantly saving others. Do you think that's fine?" That's also in quotes. So if I had to guess like what memorial means, like is it a memorial to a relationship that ended? That could make sense. Yeah, so it's kind of like either a relationship already ended and here's like a memorial to it, or when it says, "For the day that will eventually come, even though I've been waiting for it," it kind of sounds like there's a relationship and maybe both members of the relationship know that it's kind of tenuous and it's going to end someday. And it's like, even though I knew that that was going to happen, or even though I know that that's going to happen, like it's still sad or it's still unexpected. "As that spiraling day drew to a close, any word spoken would be too much. I know that all too well. Indifference is what you want, but now for my sake, don't come to conclusions alone, that's terrible. These feelings we still have would not exist with an indifferent heart." Huh. Oh, so maybe part of it might be like there was another line about indifference, and maybe it's like one of the people in this breakup or couple's fight or whatever it is maybe feigning indifference when really they still care, and that's why the stakes are high, or like that's why it hurts so much to break up, or it hurts so much to have that fight, because you can pretend to be indifferent but you still care and it affects you. So I'm gonna go out on a limb after all that and say that song is about a breakup of some sort. It's just a very, very strange mood for a song to be about a breakup. But like I said, that's just what Queen Bee does. Okay, the next song, track 4, is Mountain Hunt. I am certain that I have not heard Mountain Hunt. So this is going to be my first just completely unfamiliar with the song or any version of it reaction in this album reaction so far. No lyrics for this one. This is just a listening experience. So here we go, Mountain Hunt. Ooh. Ooh. god, the instrumentals. Oh my god. This is so cool. This reminds me of some older stuff they did. And occasionally they do a rework of like an older song, and they might even like rename it. So one, there's a slight possibility this is like a redo of an old song, or it could just sound like some of their older songs but be its own distinct thing. I'm not really sure. The drumming and the guitar and the beat of this is so crazy. It just, everything about this is so cool. And I wish I could remember. There's one song in particular of theirs that this reminds me of. I would have to go find it, but oh my god, they are just so effortlessly cool. And I don't even know what you call this genre. Like, I feel like there are some specific genre names that you could get into for whatever the sound is. I don't know what it is, but I love it. There's like a part of it that almost makes me think of like surfer music, but it's like very complicated surfer music. I'm gonna go back a tiny bit. Ooh. A piano. Woo! Oh. Can we just talk about, like, even when this song slows down, all of a sudden, like it just did there, Abu-chan's vocal delivery is, like, so rapid fire. And I'm sure the lyrics to this song are dense and, like, have a lot of meaning. But, like, there's so many lyrics per second, like, I just... Ooh. Oh my god, that ending! Like, what was that? That is the type of song they do where it's not going to be a single. They're probably not going to do a video for it. It might not be the most popular one, but it'll just pick you up and throw you around and slap you. That was so good. I do hope that at some point somebody uploads lyrics to that, because I want to know what the heck that song is about, but it sounds incredible. And I love how in that song too, it also had moments of all of the instrumentals just suddenly dropping out, and then there's like this dramatic pause, and then you go back into it. Love that. Okay, so that was Mountain Hunt. Had never heard that before. Absolutely incredible. The next song is Sailor. I also have not heard Sailor before. No English lyrics for Sailor that I can find, so another just listening experience. Huh? I was about to say, like, oh, maybe this one will sound a little more like a traditional rock song. And then there was like this beat change up. It's called Sailor. I almost wonder if it's going to be like a weird, funky version of like a sea shanty kind of song. Let me go back a second. Ooh.
優しい目ねそれで生き残るかしらさてどんな船でどんな怒りを下ろしこんな夢を見るの綺麗な喉ね
Some of their songs are like this. I don't even know how to move to this. Like, cause it's like, I don't know what the rhythm is doing, what the melody is doing. It's completely unpredictable.
誰かを刺せば胸の中でさえも自分のものさどうして夢を見るの二度と会えないかもしれないそれを毎晩するとは言えない毎日おいわいそうはいくまい迫られてはねじ伏すその手も素敵よ荒れ狂う波生きて死ねるか水不産よと割れ目塞げば甘い言葉を縫いしめ喧嘩って痛いくすぐれ
Yeah, this part is so interesting because the instrumentals pull back and then it kind of slows down and then she's almost like sing talking in this part. Like it's really hard to follow the melody of this part. It's like going in and out of like actual singing. Woo! Alright, guitar. Alright, Hibari-kun. Woo! Ooh! Ooh! Oh, I love when she does that. And there was kind of like a pitch bending thing that she did with her voice where it's like not the pitch that you expect in that moment. And I love when Queen Bee does that. It's so cool. There's like this instrument in the background, or maybe it's a synth, I don't know, but it almost sounds like someone is playing like a xylophone. Just these little high pitched little tinkly things. Oh. Yeah, there's like a xylophone or something back there. Ooh. Ooh, the way that just slowed down at the end. The yup ba 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 ba. That part, I don't know why for some reason I thought of a sea shanty. I don't think any of the song actually has the sound of a sea shanty, but I was just trying to make sense of what I was hearing with the song name being Sailor and just how the sound kept changing. I was like, okay, what can I compare this to? But the answer is nothing. That was so cool. Again, I love to see the lyrics, but that's the thing with Queen Bee is at the end of the day, if I don't know what the lyrics are, it's not taking away from my enjoyment because these songs are nuts. You never know what they're gonna do. Okay, so the next song is Zero Hachi or 08, and I did a reaction to that music video, which was just a gorgeous, colorful animation. And so I can pull up that video and listen to it from there so that we can get lyrics. And I'm just going to focus on the song and the lyrics. I'm really curious as to the meaning behind Queen Bee having the song Zero Ichi, 01, and then there's Zero Hachi, which is 08. And I'm really curious the significance of the number 8. Because it's not track 8, this is track 6. So it's not just like, oh, it's track 8 on the album. They would never do something so simple and straightforward like that. Alright, here we go. Here is Zero Hachi. Love this song too. Okay, wait. Strangling Zero, laid down, it becomes infinite. And yet... no freaking way! Wait, that is so cool. Okay, so you know the infinity symbol, which is like if you took an 8 and you laid it down flat, it would be the infinity symbol, right? So they're saying strangling Zero. So you take 0 and you strangle it. I'm not doing the right thing with my hands, but if you were to take 0 and strangle it, like you twist it around, so you turn the 0 into an 8. By strangling it, by like twisting it around the middle. And then they're also comparing 8 to infinity. Oh my god. Listen, those are just the first lines of the song, but at least I answered my question of what the significance of 8 is. And yet, it feels like just a line of empty zeros. Silence glares at me, I stare right back. I strangle it again over and over. Like a serpent, I steel myself, bodies piled high, I swallow them whole to carve out paradise. Ooh, strangling that 0, always starting anew. No one can rot away in front of me. I love the I love everything about this song, but when it goes into this part, I don't know, the beat is just so ugh. Okay, I was supposed to be looking at the lyrics, but they go so fast. Now I think I understand the song being so short. This is another very densely packed song. So even though it's very short, it's 2 minutes and 22 seconds, but like there's so much in it in that short time. So let's go back to where I stopped looking at the lyrics. It was, oh, and also there was a line I missed. Biting my own tail, does that prove my limit? She was just talking about like being a snake or a serpent. So, you know, okay. I get tripped up on saying this word. It's Ouroboros or Ouroboros. Maybe it's Ouroboros. But you know the thing where a snake is eating itself. And I think that often is also depicted in like the shape of an infinity symbol or an 8. Although sometimes it's usually just a circle. But either way, it's like, that's what this is referencing. The Ouroboros. Biting my own tail, does that prove my limit? Strangling that 0, always starting anew. Like a drama, a play, or a movie. An infamous sickness I never saw coming. And then there's this part I noticed when I first reacted. Safe, secure, stable, serene. They all have exclamation points after them. If it exists somewhere, tell me it doesn't. Cheap, easy, brand new. No one's calling out ready, set, go. And then again, safe, secure, stable, serene. What you find is what you create. After all, isn't everything just a way to kill time? Let them sulk, I couldn't care less. So the idea of like strangling that 0 is starting anew, I guess, because you strangle the 0, it turns into the infinity symbol, which also looks like 8. And there's a line about like staring into the silence. Silence glares at me, I stare right back. So if you represent silence, you know, nothingness, silence, if you represent that with a 0, and you're saying silence glares at me or 0 glares at me, I stare right back, and then, you know, constantly strangling 0. So silence is staring at her, and she stares right back and then strangles it, thus turning it into infinity, and thus starting over anew again and again. So I'm so curious, like, what silence or nothingness or 0 is really representing here. Maybe, like, nothingness, like the void. So it's like I'm staring into the void and I'm challenging it and I'm turning it into something positive where I start over again or I recreate myself. Like I've never cried before. My shattered face presses against the screaming pillow. Sleep, rest, peace, relief. Ephemeral as water, but worth a try. And that's the sleep, the rest, the peace and relief. Like when you're struggling with something and you say like, I'm going to sleep on it, I'm going to go to sleep, and you feel better afterwards. That's like a way of resetting, like a way of starting over anew. No matter how far you go, it's all parallel lines, right? Like it's all just straight lines lined up next to each other. Too bad for the one who complained. I love the little whistly part that gets introduced in this. This song is so funky! And then this part, don't cry, my little demon lord. A tireless fighter labeled insane. Unforgivable. Now I've come to claim you. Confusion, conviction, contemporary, conqueror. Let's do this. Time to go. So I wonder what the demon lord part is about. And like, my little demon lord, I've come to claim you. That is so interesting. Oh yeah, and no one can rot away in front of me. Wait, and it ends on that line. And it just stops. No one can rot away in front of me, and it just stops. Like, what a crazy ending. What a crazy line to end on. That song might end up being my favorite from the album, but it's also really hard to pick a favorite. Oh my god. I just cannot with Queen Bee sometimes. Like, I don't understand. And I think Abu-chan does a lot of the songwriting. Like, it's not just that she's the lead singer and therefore she's the face of the band. Like, she is the face of a lot of the creative decisions. But I don't know if she does all of the writing or if it's a team effort. But regardless, like, the songwriting is just absolutely insane. I can't get over it. And it's the fact that the band, everybody has the chops to keep up with it. You write just a song that goes all over the place in the most satisfying way, and you have people who can, like, play it. Hibari-kun is on the guitar, Yashi-chan on bass. I don't know if they have, like, I don't know who the drummer is right now or if they have different drummers that perform with them. But, like, just all the instruments and whoever's doing, like, keyboard or piano and synths and just everything, they're all so good, and they all, I don't know, it's like the thought of fathoming a song like that in your head and then writing it and then actually being able to sing it or actually being able to perform a part in it. It's like sometimes I think about that and I get overwhelmed because I'm like, how did someone like create this? It's just like hard for me to imagine. God, okay. Absolutely incredible song. Okay, so track 7 is Omama Goto, which I think I also have not heard. So I'm really curious about this one. Okay, so next is track 7, Omama Goto, which I tried to look up the lyrics and I found a video for what looks to be another song, but apparently Omama Goto means playhouse. So that is interesting, but there's no lyric video for this. So all I know is it means playhouse. Well, that immediately fits like a playhouse vibe. We have like a little toy like wind up music box sound at the beginning. I need to go back so I can hear the transition. Ooh, it's creepy. So cool. Oh. If I haven't said this already, they do creepy songs so well, and this is a prime example. There's something really funky happening in this album. The way the beats are, and it's like this song, it's all creepy, and then all of a sudden it goes into this weird, funky thing. I don't know. Just this part. The bass. Oh. Oh, the guitar. Ooh. Ooh. Key change. God. Talk about dense lyrics. All the parts where Avu-chan is like talk singing or almost rapping. There's so many lyrics per song. Like, I feel like if I do find an English translation of this, I will just be like bowled over by like how dense it is. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Oh, and then we go into Mephisto after this. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's just banger after banger with this group. The mood of this album is so interesting. It's like funky and creepy and intense, and then like fun and whimsical, and then creepy and intense again. I just don't even know. Like, if somebody was like, describe this album to me, what, like, I could throw those words out, but like, what would I say? Like, how would I explain it? Like, you just don't know where it's gonna go next. Okay, the next song is Mephisto, which Thinking about some of the instrumental and the tone of this song being kind of creepy, going into Mephisto, that makes perfect sense. I haven't seen Oshinoko, so I've like heard things about the plot, but I don't really know what happens. But, creepy, dark topics, that seems very fitting. So this seems like a perfect song to have after Omamagoto. Here is Mephisto. I mean, I've heard it so many times, but just gonna think about it and its place in the album. The strings. Oh, hold on, lyrics. I can definitely find Mephisto lyrics. That's easy. Here we go. Love the way this song opens. So it goes, my toes, hungry for a last chance. I danced as I ran through the night sky. An ordinary stance won't sway me. Stars are the jewels of my desires. Like, stars are the jewels of my desires? That's so beautiful.
ラストチャンスに植えたつま先が踊り出すままかけたこの夜空波のスタンスじゃなびかない星は宝石の憧れいついつまでも憧れ
And that verse is, the surfacing tears and sweat are remnants of blood. If you can only swim in your eyes, it's theatrics. But the stage won't let go. I'll keep yearning and longing forever. Longing for the stage, like longing for fame, and then the surfacing tears and sweat are remnants of blood. I mean, I'm thinking of like when you talk about someone working really hard, the blood, sweat, and tears kind of makes me think of that. But there's sort of like an almost sinister pull of the stage, like the pull of performing. I love that part. The voice in this. So, lyrics. I've never seen such a liar, born of the abyss. This lie is love and this lie is a gift to the world. Remember who you lived along with. I can't entirely say that I understand that, but I'll risk my life. I'll give it to you. You gave me time, didn't you? If all my desires came true. Oh, how I wish I could attain that. I want to see you. I wish upon the stars. Stars like the stars and stars like the pop idols and, the famous stars. It's like doing too much for fame, or like dying for fame, being obsessed with fame. Oh, the guitar. Okay, that last verse was, do you cherish it only when there is no going back? If you don't begin, you will never reach the summit. Days of ease won't likely come, gathered within the days, a sad light. I guess a lot of it is just about like, you're going to work really hard for fame and there's no going back. Or do you cherish it only when there is no going back? Just, more about like how hard someone is working for fame, and I guess how grueling it can be, or how like they're obsessed with fame and it like they do so much for it and they discard other things for it. And then I told you I was born of the abyss. This lie is love and this lie is a gift to the world. I've forgotten who I lived as. Okay, so kind of like becoming famous and you forget who you were before. And just something about the abyss, like fame, like going into the abyss of fame and like not really knowing who you are anymore. Yeah, that sounds about right. Vocals. I always wonder how Abu-chan can go from like super high voice and just effortlessly go into like her deeper voice and switch back and forth. It's like mesmerizing. So that's the bridge, and it's, if life returns to you, if it reaches you, I don't care what happens to me, but not every wish will be fulfilled. And if that's not realized, I shall become you. The stars shatter and shine. I shall become you. And, you know, I feel like maybe I would understand this more if I saw the anime, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but was it actually written specifically with Oshinoko in mind? Because I swear there's a line that actually goes Oshinoko, and I forget what that means. I think it means something about stars. So I thought, okay, this had to have been written for the anime. I think normally Queen Bee will write a song and then they'll use it in an anime, but it wasn't written for it. But in this case, it had to be written for it, right? So I think it is relevant to the story of the show. Okay, so I'll risk my life, I'll give it to you. Did you not give me time? If all my desires came true, how I wish I could attain that. I want to see you, I wish upon the stars. That's the chorus. And I'll go ahead and read the lyrics of the outro, which is about to come up. Now, children of the stars, sleep well, your brilliance won't fade because it's you. Children of the stars, aim well. Don't let your blinking eyes deceive you because it's you. I don't know what that means exactly. Maybe children of the stars are the idols, the famous people, the celebrities, like the performers. I get a general like vibe from that song about like the toxicity of fame, but I don't really know what every line is about. But anyway, let's just go and appreciate listening to this outro because it's so incredible. Okay, I think Oshinoko is Children of the Stars. And by the way, I love that deep bass sound that shows up in the song sometimes. It's just like boom. And it kind of pans in one direction, I think. Yeah. What a beautiful song. Just another banger on this album. I can really appreciate its place in the album after that creepy song Omamagoto, and I'm really curious about the song that comes after it. The next song is Headless Angel, which I've also heard, and I also reacted to that video. So that's interesting because that's another kind of creepy vibe song. I'm gonna definitely look up the lyrics to that one because I didn't pay attention to the lyrics a ton when I reacted to the video. But I feel like that's another creepy song. So Mephisto's placement here, it does make sense. Just sandwiched between two kind of creepy vibe kind of songs. Yeah. Also, it seems like the song Headless Angel was a theme song or part of the soundtrack of some game. I don't know if it's a mobile game or what, but it's called Goddess of Victory Nikki. I mean, Queen Bee just left and right. It's like theme song for a show, theme song for an anime, and now theme song for a game. They're just doing everything. Okay, so unfortunately I couldn't find English lyrics for this song, but we're just going to listen to Headless Angel and just appreciate it. And this is track 9. There's some good bass in this. Just subtly underneath everything.
願いましてはトップを吹き荒れ叫ぶ岩肌命を吹き込み消えた誰かさん全身キスして眠る風に
That's right. I remember in this song, it starts out, it actually, I was saying how it had creepy vibes, but it's like it starts out and you kind of think it's going to be creepier sounding than it is. And then we go into this like upbeat, bouncy thing.
願いを連ね暴れてく神話無言で語る揺るぎない神秘
I love this part.
私が来たならもう大丈夫言葉に全て宿りますよあなたの目は輝いた後は誰だってわかるでしょドキドキしたいのズキズキしてるの誰かといたってそれは消えるの
Okay, see, this part of the song is kind of creepy sounding. There are creepy sounding parts of the song, and then it goes into like kind of an upbeat, different sound. I mean, it's par for the course with Queen Bee. They're not going to do just one thing. They're never one note, and they're not going to do just one sound in a song. It's going to be like 10 different sounds. And then this part... I love this so much! And then suddenly this! It's like a more chill version of the part from earlier. Ooh. And there's so much like background vocal panning in this song, and there was a certain part where it was just like really chaotic. Like it almost felt like somebody was whispering like over here, and then there was also something going on over here. Yeah, the song is creepy. I remembered correctly. Oh, the clapping. There's this whole long part in English, but something about like everyone wants to save the world, but something has been infected. It's something as in I'm not catching all of the lyrics, but I definitely hear the word infected in there. And it just ending on the creepy whispering. Oh my god. Incredible. Another incredible song. This album is just nothing but banger after banger. Okay, so track 10 is Zero Ichi or 01, which I love because 10 is just 01 inverted. And we know that Zero Hachi was like all of this crazy stuff about taking 0 and strangling it and turning it into an infinity, which also looks like 8. So I know that it was intentional to put 01 as 10. You know what I mean? It's like more of the wordplay, like visual wordplay. I don't even know what to call it, but I know that was intentional. Zero Ichi is another one I've heard. I reacted to the music video. It's also yet another theme song to a thing. It's the opening to an anime called Undead Unluck. God, I mean, there's so many theme songs in this. We have Mephisto on here, which is an ending theme for Oshinoko. Zero Ichi is an opening for an anime. And then Headless Angel was a theme song for a game. And there could be some other theme song in here that I don't even know about. It's just amazing, like, the level of prolificness and, like, it just, what Queen Bee is just constantly doing. Theme songs and deals left and right and releasing an album, like, every year pretty much and just constantly doing stuff. It's like mind-boggling to me. Anyway, just enough for that little rant. Let's just listen to Zero Ichi again and appreciate it. And I think I can pull up the lyrics for this one too. This intro is so beautiful. I've decided this is the end. He asked, what happens when you die? A knife sprang out then, quicker than uneventful tears. You know, disappearing now would be pointless. Like candle wax harden my waltzing blood. Like, what? That's a crazy line! Despite there being so many unheld hands. Hey, what happens when you die? Who will you haunt then? Like arrows, the seasons pass by, re-grasping that which you won't give up. It's forgiven, just forget every little thing. Kindness halts towards the destined home. Like, I don't know what that means, but it sounds really cool. Who had turned back, a sorrowful gaze follows. Repeating thank you and sorry. Taking that step, 01. Always hoping for a better future somewhere. If you're going to accept the misfortune of resisting life, seek freedom. The misfortune of resisting life. Like, obviously the song is about death, and in the music video, it's like pretty clearly about like fighting against death or evading death and like, you know, surviving on the other end after fighting for so long. But there's a lot of lyrics about like desiring death, I guess. It's like the video has one story, but the lyrics are more complex, maybe. Or there's just more to pull apart and figure out. Our red creations are driving us into turmoil. Embracing this inexplicable reason, we sing today. Oh, here... Oh, she just said, here I quit being human. And then it's that part that goes into the, like, distorted lyrics, where you could say it sounds a little bit like inhuman or like robotic or just distorted, like not really human. And it's right after she said, here I quit being human. I've had enough of these recurring games of love. How long has it been since the off switch disappeared? So it's like part of the song is about death, but I feel like there's also this like, I keep getting stuck in these dead end relationships maybe kind of thing going on. Or like I'm stuck in this relationship and there's not an off switch anymore. Like death could be just about ending something that you don't want to be in and then starting over. And then it wasn't there from the start. So the off switch wasn't there from the start. Do you find comfort when zeros line up? I didn't want to let you say there's a replacement. Like a replacement for Abu-chan. I remember when I did my reaction to this song, I tried to understand some of these lyrics in that. But I think having listened to Zero Hachi and looked at those lyrics, it's helping me give like a little more depth to the understanding of this song. Especially the thing about zeros lining up. Because now we know that like Queen Bee has played with the visual of zero. Like you have zero. You can strangle it and turn it into infinity or turn it into 8. So if we think about a bunch of zeros lining up, do you find comfort when zeros line up? Like, is it just like an endless sea of the same thing, or like an endless sea of like emptiness, or just there's no end to something. Can you dance alone at the end of loneliness? Like the end of loneliness after you've passed by all of the zeros that are lined up? You missed the chance to throw away that rusted knife. Don't thirst. Just dance, dance, waltz. And she just said something about, can you dance alone at the end of loneliness? So don't thirst, just dance. Hey, how's it over there? A lot about loneliness. Another great guitar solo. Goodbye, the silence is crystal clear. Well, this is the beginning. So there's more of the thing about like it's an ending, but it's also a new beginning. Don't look away, I tell myself. Nice to meet you for the last time. Or no, nice to meet you for the last first time. Don't sleep, my body screams. Strike the early bell, embossed heart. I don't know what striking the early bell means exactly, but an embossed heart, I guess, is like when someone has marked your heart, when someone has left an imprint on your heart. Like you had a relationship with this person and it affected you. So maybe it's about starting over new from that, or maybe it's like, can you really start over new from that? Words left unsaid are unreliable. Always stepping forward, 0-1. Always starting over new, or the first person or the new person is always stepping forward. So the song ends with the line, embracing this inexplicable reason we sing today. And I guess the reason has to do with just like the line about accepting the misfortune of resisting life, seek freedom. Our red creations are driving us into turmoil. I don't know if the red part is like blood, like violence maybe. Embracing this inexplicable reason we sing today. And the song ends. And then in the video, that's where she like wakes up. So really interesting. Like I said, I'm thinking about the lyrics to that in context of other lyrics on the album. There's like songs that are about fighting to survive and songs that are about like starting over new as like a new person, or starting over new after maybe like an ended relationship. So I'm starting to actually see a through line in the album. The only problem is I wish there's different stuff going on with like the creepy tracks. Like Oshinoko is about something different, like, I don't know, obsession with fame. And I don't know what Headless Angel is about because I don't have the lyrics to that. There's only that one English part. What was the other creepy song? Oh yeah, Omama Goto, which means play house, but I don't know the lyrics to that. So barring the songs that I don't have lyrics to, I am seeing a through line about like starting over new, getting over a relationship, knowing that a relationship is going to end, or that like someone is going to be forgotten. Infinity, like zero, like looking into the abyss. There's just like, there's a lot of interesting ideas that are running through a good bit of the songs on this album. There definitely is like a consistent theme in this album. It's not just, you know, oh, these songs were done around the same time. There's definitely like a story weaving through it. Okay, so that was Zero Ichi, track 10. There's only one more track, track 11, which is Aku, and that's the title track. and I have not heard it. So I'm super excited for this. Unfortunately, that means there's probably not lyrics anywhere since they didn't release it before as a single. There's not a video, there's not a lyric video. So this is just going to be a listening experience. All right, here we go. Here's track number 11, Aku. God. Just right off the bat. Oh, that's beautiful. Ooh, beautiful and kind of haunting.
はやれない突き放しても手も震えないそれはとても退屈なくなるならましたくはない体とこの
For real, just the different tones that she chooses to sing in are always so interesting to me. There's so many interesting choices being made here. And this particular tone that she's singing in, it's vulnerable, but not in like the voice cracking vulnerable way. It's a different kind of vulnerable. Ooh.
ら素直になればなるほど可愛らしく鋭い悲しみに手をやる私が思ってるだけ全部祈るだけでは救われば
I know it's probably going to build an intensity and introduce some more stuff at some point. Maybe. Or maybe it won't, and it'll surprise me. But right now, the song is so spare. It's such a good contrast, like hearing something relatively spare compared to like what the whole album has been like, which just makes it a great ending song. I wish I knew what it was about. Ooh. There's an interesting like kind of ticking sound. It kind of reminds me either of a clock or like winding up a music box a little bit, which we had a winding up music box sound in Omamagoto, but this kind of reminds me of that too. Ooh. Ooh. I was expecting it to build. I wasn't expecting it to like go up and then just go back into this spareness. But it's so beautiful. I don't know. I can't deal with this. It's like I have no idea what the words are. I don't have an inkling, but the song is so beautiful and it's just like telling me a story from the sound of it. Ooh. Okay. I love that. It's gorgeous. Ooh. There's this like rising hopeful sound to this. I'm getting a lot of that vibe from the album, that it's very like bittersweet, or there's a lot of adversity and something negative, but then there's like a hopefulness that comes out of it. Ooh. So gorgeous and creepy. Ooh! Oh my god, what a way for that song to end. What a way for that album to end. Oh my god, oh my god. Okay. I gotta gather my thoughts. There isn't really much of a review for me to give. At the end of all that, you know that I absolutely loved this. That was an incredible album. It was so interesting. You never really knew where it was gonna go musically, but there was, from the lyrics that I could actually look up, there was like a through line with this theme of starting over new, just staring into infinity and just building yourself up from adversity and starting over fresh, and like the way that relationships can fade out. I want to find the lyrics to all the songs and I want to look at them under a microscope, because the ones I could see were so interesting, and I know that I'm just scratching the surface on the meaning, because that's just how Queen Bee lyrics are. Even when I have them in front of me in English, there's still a meaning that has to be puzzled out. I don't just like automatically understand it. And the fact that it's translated, I'm sure that there's a piece of meaning that is lost in translation. They just like stun me with everything that they do. I don't know. This might be like my new favorite album of theirs. It's sort of hard for me to pick favorite albums for them. I like a lot of them for like different reasons. What's so cool about this is their older albums are more like edgy or punk, I guess you could say. And then their newer albums are more like well produced and polished, while still just being like all over the place, edgy, crazy. But there were some sounds on this that occasionally reminded me of like older stuff that they've done, while still having that really polished, just like in the pocket, like perfect sound. But then like when Avu-chan wants to like sing off key or like make her voice crack, she'll do that for the effect. So that's still there. So this just felt like such a good summing up of different sounds that they've done, like just putting it all together with the production value that they have now. Writing songs in the studio, performing, they just get to go nuts and put it out there and just do what they want and like present their vision to the world. And it's like beautiful and incredible. And it makes me feel things even on the songs that I don't know the lyrics to. I can just feel the story coming through it, and I can just like feel things from it. And I love how good they are at like telling a story. Yeah, this might be my new favorite album of theirs. This could be like their masterpiece. The only song from this album where I was originally iffy on hearing it would be Super Memorial, but not this album version of it, but like when I originally heard Super Memorial, the first version, I like wasn't sure if I was super into it, or I was just like, this is fun, but I don't know if I really love it as like a Queen Bee song. But especially looking at the lyrics, it absolutely has its place within this album, and I think I can appreciate it more within this album. So just the way that everything cohesively works together so well. This album is just incredible. I don't know. There's nothing else for me to say, really. My face hurts from like smiling and experiencing emotions and just talking about how amazing this is. I would love to hear your thoughts on this album. What is your favorite song? What do you think of the lyrics? Do you know where to go to find more English lyrics for their songs? Any insider information you have, or just any thoughts that you want to share, please do. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to subscribe. I will be doing more Queen Bee reactions. That is something I will consistently be doing for sure. So stay tuned as they inevitably release more stuff very soon because they're constantly releasing stuff. Like, they need to chill out. Anyway, this is eSoup, signing out until next time.